Only 12 men have played cricket and football for England. One of them was not only a double international, but also a county cricket captain, a football club captain, and founded one of Liverpool's best-known sports outfitters. His name was Jack Sharp. His story starts in Hereford, the cathedral city of Herefordshire, bordering on Wales. Here, on February 15, 1878, Dorking-born Charles Sharp and his wife Annie, from County Meath, Ireland, were blessed with their fourth son. The child was subsequently christened John Samuel, but was popularly known as Jack. The 1881 census report shows the family of Charles Sharp, a butcher, living at 8 Ine Street in the city centre. The street is now known as Ine Gate. The household comprised the 6 members of the Sharp family, with Jack's mother, Annie, acting as an assistant in the butcher's shop. Charles also had a stake in another profitable concern, the Grapes Tavern in nearby East Street. Jack and elder brother Bertram, or Bert, grew up playing football and cricket. They joined a local football club, Hereford Thistle. Home matches were played at the Barracks Ground on Harold Street. The team's HQ was Charles Sharp's business, the Grapes. Jack broke scoring records at centre forward for Hereford Thistle, whilst Bert performed capably at full back. With 17-year-old Jack in the ranks, the team won the Bristol League, progressing to the Birmingham and District League. His displays piqued the interest of Aston Villa, who fielded a reserve team in the same competition. On the cricket front, Jack had been engaged by Liverpool Cricket Club at Aigburth for 1895 as an apprentice groundsman. In 1897, he was recruited by Leyland, the Lancashire club being one of the country's top outfits at that time. In addition, the Aston Villa directors successfully negotiated with Jack and Bert, and they both joined the reigning FA Cup and Football League champions in 1897. In his first season at Villa Park, Jack was not a regular pick at centre forward, but soon found his niche as the outside right for his team. Compact at 5'7" and 11.5 stone, or 73 kilograms, Jack was strong, brave, fast, and possessed a strong shot, later earning the nickname Pocket Hercules. He scored 15 goals in 23 appearances for the Villa, but came to the conclusion that he would need to leave the club in order to advance his career. Bert agreed, and the brothers signed for Everton in April 1899 for £450. The pair made their debuts the following season. Bert failed to establish himself as first-choice right-back and departed for Southampton in 1902. Jack, on the other hand, quickly became the automatic choice on Everton's right wing. He also became eligible to play cricket for Lancashire. The 21-year-old made his first-class debut at Old Trafford in June 1899 as a right-hand batsman and left-arm fast-medium bowler. 3 years later, Jack married Mary Annette Scott in Manchester and subsequently raised 3 children, Jack Jr., Madeline, and Geoffrey. Jack played for Everton for 11 years, yet sadly it was often a case of so near yet so far. Everton, managed by local solicitor Will Cuff, finished runners-up in the league on no fewer than 3 occasions and finished third twice, while Jack was with the club. An international call-up came about in a home international match against Ireland at Molineux in Wolverhampton. A day short of his 25th birthday in 1903, Jack was drafted into the side at inside right. England won 4-0, with 2 goals by the Harry Kane of his day, Vivian Woodward, plus 1 each from Harry Davis and Jack Sharp. Despite this, he was not selected again for 2 years. Playing outside right at the Crystal Palace Stadium in South London, his run and cross fed Aston Villa's Joe Bake for the game's only goal. England 1, Scotland 0. Jack's sole silverware came to him a year later when the Blues lifted the 1906 FA Cup. The semi-final that season was a Merseyside derby, played at Jack's old stomping ground of Villa Park. 2 second-half goals secured a passage to a final tie against Newcastle United. The match was staged at Crystal Palace on a gloomy April day, the wind whipping around the ground making playing conditions difficult. Jack's win play conjured up a number of inviting opportunities, which his teammates spurned. Finally, the breakthrough came. To the intense delight of the Everton supporters, Jack evaded the Magpies' Peter McWilliam and Jack Carr and sent it into the goalmouth, where Scottish international Alex "Sandy" Young tipped the ball into the net. At full-time, the score was Everton 1, Newcastle United 0. Jack's long wait for honours had finally ended. The following season, Jack scored in the Cup semi-final to help the Blues to a 2-1 victory over West Bromwich Albion. For the return trip to the Crystal Palace Stadium, the opposition was Sheffield Wednesday, then known as the Wednesday. Jack was Everton's best player on the day. His fine goal ensured that the sides went in level at the interval, but the Yorkshireman scored the winning goal in the second half. Jack's cricket career as a consistently successful all-rounder with Lancashire continued throughout the 1900s. In 1904, he played in all 26 matches of a season that saw Lancashire win the county championship without losing a match. In 1909, the Australians, captained by Monty Noble, toured England and played 5 test matches against their hosts. England won the first test at Edgbaston, Birmingham by 10 wickets in a low-scoring match. At Lord's in North London, Australia restored parity in the series with a 9-wicket win. The third test at Headingley, Leeds, saw Jack selected at the last minute for his first cap. England, led by Jack's county captain, Archie McLaren, restricted the Australians to 188 in their first innings. England nearly matched this with 182. Jack topped scoring with 61. Sid Barnes, with 6 wickets, was the chief wrecker of the Australian second innings of 207. That left England a winning target of 214 on the third and final day of the test. But England's batting failed miserably. In a total of 87, Jack scored 11. The pace of Tibby Cotter and the spin of Charlie McCartney caused the last 7 English wickets to fall in less than an hour. Australia won the test by 126 runs to take a 2-1 lead in the series, with 2 matches to play. The fourth test at Jack's home ground of Old Trafford, Manchester, was interrupted by rain and the match was drawn. Jack scored 3 and 8 not out. England went to the Oval, South London, for the 5th test, hoping to square the series. The Australian opener, Warren Bardsley, scored 136 in a total of 325, with Jack taking 3 wickets, conceding 67 runs. England's first innings of 382 included a century by Jack. His 105 runs included 11 fours and was the only century by an English batsman in the entire series. In addition, it was the 100th century in all Test cricket. Australia made hay in their second innings, declaring at 339 runs for 5 wickets. Warren Bardsley, or Curly as is also known, scored 130, becoming the first batsman in history to score a century in each innings of a Test match. England scored 104 for 3, and the match was drawn. Australia won the series 2-1, with 2 draws, and they retained the Ashes trophy. Sadly, Jack Sharp never played for England again. His 3 tests gave him a batting average of 47 and bowling figures of 3 wickets at the expense of 183 runs. Jack was appointed the captain of Everton for the 1908-1909 season. Now in his early 30s, he decided to retire as captain and as a player at the end of the following season. He had made 342 appearances for the Blues over 11 years, scoring 76 goals in all competitions. Jack ended his career having been featured 14 times in cigarette card collections, the best way of measuring a player's status in that era. Jack Pickford, an Everton writer at the time, was moved to write, "No player's brilliance on the field was more vividly impressed on the minds of Everton fans than Jack Sharp." The retirement from football allowed Jack to focus on his business, which he had founded in 1903. His sports outfitters and equipment shop was at 36 to 38 Whitechapel in Liverpool. It had its own logo and motto, "Jack O' Both Sides," a nod to his parallel sporting careers. As well as negotiating deals to supply the Merseyside football clubs, and many others, with kit and equipment, Jack's business was given exclusive rights to sell Everton matchday tickets in the city centre. In the 1940s and 1950s, huge crowds would snake along the Whitechapel pavement in advance of the biggest matches. Jack's retirement from playing for Everton did not mean the end of his career as a cricketer. After the First World War, Jack switched from professional to amateur cricketing status and continued to represent his adopted county of Lancashire. In 1923, at 45 years of age, he was selected as county captain, the oldest in the club's history. He combined this with the role of England selector in 1924. By now, age was finally catching up with him. Having gained a few pounds of weight and lost some agility, he dropped a routine catching opportunity off the first ball of a Middlesex innings in 1925. Backed by some members of the Old Trafford crowd for his mistake, he had to be dissuaded from retiring from cricket there and then. However, at the end of the season, he called time on his brilliant cricketing career. He was given a life membership of Lancashire County Cricket Club in recognition of a county career, reaping 22,015 runs and 434 wickets in 418 appearances. Jack's association with Everton was not over, however. In 1922, he was co-opted onto the Goodison board under the chairmanship of Jack's old manager, Will Cuff. Jack's contribution to the boardroom was significant, as he possessed business acumen and an ex-player's eye for footballing talent. During his time as a director, Everton enjoyed some notable successes, partly due to the goal-scoring exploits of William Ralph Dixie Dean. Signed from Tranmere Rovers in 1925, Dixie scored a record-breaking 60 goals in the 1927-28 season that saw Everton win the league championship. At that season's end, he was 21 years old. The Blues won the league title again in 1932, and in the following year's FA Cup final, Dixie Dean captained Everton and scored in the 3-0 win over Manchester City. Everton's all-time goalscorer has been commemorated with a statue outside Goodison Park, and a hotel bearing his name is in the heart of Liverpool. While on holiday towards the end of 1937, Jack contracted bronchitis in the Yorkshire spa town of Harrogate. Despite treatment, the problem gradually escalated, and he succumbed to congestive heart failure at his Wavertree home on January 28, 1938. He was aged only 59. The Sharp family connection with Everton was re-established in 1948 when Jack's eldest son, Jack Jr., was elected to the board. He had been a cricketer and rugby player in his youth. After Jack Sr.'s death, his 3 children served as directors of the family business. Jack Jr. took on the day-to-day running of the shop on Whitechapel and was Everton's chairman when Harry Catterick's side lifted the 1969-70 League Championship trophy. His passing in the spring of 1979 ended nearly 60 years of Sharp family service to the club. After his death, the retail business remained in the family until a takeover offer from JJB Sports was accepted in 1988. After a few years, the brand was retired by JJB. The site is now that of a branch of the travel company Trailfinders. Jack Sharp is a strong contender for the title of Everton's finest outside right. An inaugural inductee into the Gladys Street's Hall of Fame, his contribution to his beloved club was also recognised in January 2000 when he was selected by a panel as the Everton Giant of the first decade of the 20th century. Jack is not forgotten in Hereford either. In 2013, a plaque was erected at Irongate in honour of one of the city's greatest sporting sons.